So here are all the tools that you need for driveline pulls. You'll acquire tools as you go along. Bottle jack is important because right now we have tension on the rear end, just like you would if you were hooking anything up without keys, access to the transmission to put in neutral. So we use the bottle jack when we get underneath there to jack up one side of the rear end. It'll release the tension, and I'll show you where the sweet spot is on the driveline. Use a chain or a strap for a catch point. So when you pop the driveline out, it'll catch there and not come all the way down. You don't want the driveline hitting you. We don't use bungees. We use straps. Bungees tend to bounce. I want to put the driveline back exactly where we took it out. So we use a marker or a rock or a screwdriver, something to make a line down the driveline to the yoke so that we know where to put it back when we're done. This is a 4. Have black tape. Black tape is so we can wrap around the caps of the U-joint so we don't lose anything going down the road. And then we pry bar to pop it out. So let's get underneath there and take a look. So you see I put my chain in my position. I'm probably just going to wrap it around the exhaust and the driveline so it catches it, doesn't hit the ground. I don't want it to hit the ground. But you can see we have 12 point, I believe that's 1/2 inch when I get a wrench on there, bolts. Jack up the driveline or the rear end real quick so we can get tension off here. It's kind of hard to show, but there's no give on that driveline as I grab it. So I believe there's tension on that driveline. And if I try to pop it out with the tension on there, that driveline's literally going to just take off. And the chances of it hitting you instead of going straight to the ground is pretty high. Jack up this side of the rear end. And you can watch the tire's going to spin, and this should loosen up. So as we get this just a little off the ground, that's your sweet spot right there. If you can grab the rear end, and you see how this driveline's already loose, but that's your sweet spot. Okay, so we're gonna put a chain around here. And really I started using a chain or strap to do this when we were doing heavies, because the drivelines were, I don't know, 50, 100 pounds, 150 pounds. And when they come down and hit you in the chest when you pop them out, it hurts. But also, if there's just a little bit of tension, when it pops out, it can only go as far as that chain is. So we're going to use a 12 point. So we're going to use a 12 point metric 12 on this rear end. You want to make sure you have metric and SAE in case you get stuck underneath the driveline and otherwise you have the wrong tool. Well, sometimes the bolts get tight and they're hard to get off, and I'll use a second wrench on here as a leverage point to break it free. Okay. So before we get too far into this, and a lot of times before I even start, I will mark the driveline. This way I know where to line it up when I put it back in. Especially with newer trucks that are from the factory, they're balanced. As you can see, the weights that are on the driveline here, they're balanced to the truck. They're not balanced to the driveline. So depending on the driveline, depending on how long it's been in here, you'll have to get behind it and pop it loose. See how that chain saved me from getting hit in the head? That's what it's there for. So now, this one doesn't have loose caps to tape off, but sometimes they're just straps that go around the end of the driveline here, and the straps will come off, the bolts will come out. You want to tape with black tape. You want to tape those caps on there so they don't get lost and going down the freeway. So these end caps, these straps will come off and they're bolted in here. With these end caps, they'll come flying off when you're going down the freeway. So you want to put black tape around there. This one's all one unit, so we don't have to worry about that. But when you strap up the driveline, you don't want to take it all the way out. Once in a while, you don't have much choice, especially when the driveline's broken. On something like this, I want to push it forward. And then when I strap it, I want to strap it up. And we'll use a strap, not a bungee cord. If you're using a bungee cord, that thing can come down and hit the rear end and just destroy it. The point is to pull it back towards the transmission and up, and then strap it up to one of the cross members here. Are you ready, Mike? Okay. So again, back towards the transmission and up. And I put a loop around it. I don't know, habit, I guess, more than anything else. So what we want to show is that the driveline's up and back. And if you notice over here, even with the strapped up, it'll bounce back and forth here. So sometimes I'll put a bungee on here and grab it and pull it forward. Just every driveline's a little different there. This one here is aluminum, so it'll tuck in there. We don't have to worry about it falling. So when we get to our drop location, you'll note that the driveline's nice and snug up there. At least that's what you want it to be. Hopefully by then you can get it in neutral to line the driveline back up. We're going to probably have to cut this strap.
What do you do with the bolts?
I usually put them on the driver's side floorboard of the vehicle I'm towing, so I know where they're at. And also when I get there, if the mechanic says don't bother putting the driveline back in, we have to work on the rear end, transmission, or I'll put it back in. Everybody knows where the bolts are. As you can see, I can rotate it for easier access for the bolts. We don't have as much of a difficult time like we did earlier.
And that's because it's jacked and in neutral.
And in neutral, correct. So hopefully when you get to the shop, they have the keys. If they have the keys, they're able to do both. Just makes it much easier for you. That's it, Mike.